their mental health, whatever that feels like. If you dig around on our website, we'll say we're very effective for depression and anxiety, and this is a group of mental health conditions called neuroses.
Gus from Tomo, thank you so much for coming into the brand new studio, Temper Studio.
Brand new temp studio.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about Tomo and what it's all about briefly first.
Of course, thank you for having me. It's great to be
No
here.
worries.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
So Tomo is an app which helps you manage your mental health by changing your behavior. We bring people into a supportive community to build the kind of habits that will build resilience and aid recovery from depression, anxiety, and other common mental health conditions.
Because it's such a big topic now. Like, it's not something that people have to hide away and worry about anymore. They can actually talk about it openly as well, right? Because we always shine a light on mental health, especially in what we do, right? Because startups, there's a lot of them suffering from stress, and I think people tend to kind of think of mental health in a different way. You know, the way, like, in the past you used to think of it was one thing. Now it's a broader thing of many other ways, like stress, anxiety, depression, as you were saying. So what exactly do you guys do?
Yeah, absolutely. So one half of what we do is behavioral activation, which is all about identifying what habits are going to get you better, and it's really unique, it's different for everyone. The other half of what we do is peer accountability, drawn from things like group therapy or the 12-step program. So every time you do something in Tomo is a chatbot, it talks you through selecting these activities. You take a photograph. That photograph is of you doing that activity, and that is shared with other users of the app. And the idea is Tomo stands for a community. It's a community of people who are suffering from the same kind of conditions that you are, and they validate you. So you get to see other people's photographs. You say, has this person got out of bed? Has this person gone for a walk? Is this person dancing around their room? Have they taken their medication?
Okay.
Yes or no?
What? I'm sorry. I was going to say, what type of response have you gotten? Because I said this is something that not many people talk about openly, right? So what type of response have you guys gotten?
So I think it's important to distinguish different communities that respond. So we get great response from healthcare professionals, particularly psychiatrists, psychologists, clinical psychologists, because they know what we're trying to do, and they support it. We get great response from mental health advocates, who are people who are brave enough to be vocal about their own mental health, because they support our mission in trying to help people self-manage mental health conditions. And from the people who use the app, they really like it. They like the sharing of photographs in particular. They like to see there's a community, that they're not alone. But in many times when we talk to people, people are uncomfortable still about the topic of mental health. And so their response has perhaps been more muted than we would like.
It's an interesting one, right? So do you segment, because you're saying about peers, right? So do you segment people who are anxious, who are stressed, is that how, do you have to put in, this is how I'm feeling in myself, or what way does...
No, we don't actually, we're not a diagnostic tool. So Tomo is for anyone who wants to manage their mental health, whatever that feels like. If you dig around on our website, we'll say we're very effective for depression and anxiety, and this is a group of mental health conditions called neuroses. And for most neuroses, we can be helpful. But we don't require you to have a formal diagnosis, because everything we're trying to do, it's good for you. It's not just about depression and anxiety. Being more active, being more socially connected is going to affect almost every long-term condition that make up 70% of global healthcare spend.
Like, you mightn't be suffering for anything and it's still beneficial.
Yeah, of course. Out for a walk and whatever it might be. It's an interesting one, because I'm seeing more and more people on Instagram that are putting up on stories, sorry, haven't been on in 3 or 4 weeks. This isn't helping my mental health. And there are people with a decent amount of following, like 50, 60,000 followers above in these cases, and they're saying, I have to take a break because it's not good for me. Is there any risk with Tomo that it would have a negative effect on anybody? So let's say I'm in bed and I'm not arsed, right? And I don't want to go into work, I don't want to see friends, I'm just feeling a bit reclusive, and I go into the app and I see other people are getting out of bed. And for me personally, I don't suffer from that, so I go, I'm going to get out of bed. But would that make anyone feel worse about themselves, saying, oh, someone else is able to get out of bed, but I really don't want to?
So the answer is, we get this question a lot. So far, we've had about 18,700 habits through the app. We ask people how they're doing every single day. the first thing Tomo asks is how's your day going, and if anyone's feeling bad, we go, well, we have a place where you can look at sources of support for mental health. So we always try and capture people who are at a really low point as soon as they enter the app, and there's always this help button available where we can send you to go and see a proper medical professional. We're in no way a replacement for any kind of treatment. We're there to make treatment better and to help you with management. We try to have as wide a range of activities as possible. So if you can't get out of bed, you can still, I don't know, text a friend, or you can still arrange to meet up with someone later that week. You can still do something that's good for you, even if you can't get up and get going that day. We wanted to make it so there was really the very smallest step you can do, so no one could ever feel they couldn't do anything. Also, the one thing you can always do through the product is help other people. You can always go in, you can always see someone else's photographs, and yes, you might not be able to do it yourself, but you can help them do it. And there's some really interesting research about the ability of people with depression to still be altruistic, still help other people. So I know people who suffer from depression who might not get out of bed for themselves, but would cross the city to help a friend in need. And it's that kind of energy we wanted to tap into when building the Tomo community.
It's amazing because that's an incredible thing, and what people can go through to help someone else is amazing. You spoke a bit off camera before we sat down about the sheer amount of research. This isn't something you said, I think this will help people, let's put this app together. You a crazy amount of research into it. It's brilliant.
Yeah, we didn't feel so this app comes from a personal place. I don't think anyone gets into mental health care to make lots of money. It's not going to happen. We got into this place because my co-founder Fad and I, we know mental health conditions. We know depression, we know anxiety. We wanted to build a product that was useful and that was helpful from the patient perspective. But we also both have backgrounds in academia. So being kind of like data nerds, we also wanted to make sure that it was going to work. So we spent 2.5 years fundraising, designing and testing the product. We did a study with London South Bank University run by Professor Daniel Frings, who is a behavioral psychologist there. Last year, it showed that over a 2-month period, we do create and sustain new behaviors. And this is the core mechanic of what we do. We're about empowering people to change their behavior. So we do that, and we also improve an outcome called the Lancer scale, which is a happiness outcome. So we also make our users happier.
Are you like how do you make money off this? Like, because obviously you need money to keep going.
Yeah.
Is there a charge obviously for people using it?
Yes, we charge people in 2 ways.
Okay.
So currently we sell direct to consumer, and we sell a monthly subscription of $9.99 a month on the App Store.
Okay.
Or you can buy a 3-month package for $23.99, and that includes a course. So we have a clinical director who is a consultant psychiatrist up at Camden and Islington, not so far from here, called Dr. Chichi Abwaya. He and my co-founder Fahad have written this course to explain the science behind what we do. So it's like an introductory series of emails that really explains why the app can help. And even if you don't like the app, it gives you all the tools to do this just for yourself with a pen and a piece of paper. We wanted to make sure we were always giving value to the people who purchased our products.
Just out of curiosity, where did you come up with 3 months? Like was it that's how long each course takes, or did you something with your data that you found that?
So it's not just our data; it's everyone's.
Okay.
Behavior change the biggest challenge with building a consumer-facing behavior change product is that consumer products need to deliver value very quickly in order to have significant retention, but behavior change takes time. When we ran our study, it took about a month for anyone to realize anything was changing, and that, I think, in app terms and digital terms, is an enormous amount of time.
Yeah.
The average time it takes to create a new behavior, sort of across a meta-analysis of lots of studies, is about 3 months. There's a reason we wanted to get people there for that 3-month period, is to get them on, engaged, and making these things habitual, so they'd then be able to use it for a longer period of time and get the most benefit out of the product.
It's interesting, meditation app Calm. The meditation app Calm, really, really good. But you see people posting the streaks you go on. So you're like a 20-day calm streak, a 30-day calm streak of using it every day.
Yeah.
But they say that it's a 98.5% retention rate at 90 days or more.
Wow.
So if someone does 90 days straight of getting into that routine of meditating every day, that just becomes part of their life. So yeah, it makes perfect sense. Well, thank you so much for coming in. If people want to find out more, where can they get the app?
They can get the app on the App Store, or they can go to hellotomo.co.uk.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for coming in, Gus. Really
Guys,
appreciate
thank
it.
you for having me.
Cheers
I
so much
really
for your time.
appreciate it.
Thanks.